And hello again, and welcome to part 2 of this short series on how to build up a decent toolkit for working on your bike at home. And so as you can see, this video is all about screwdrivers. So it might well be quite a short video, because what can you say about screwdrivers? But there are 2 or 3 things I want to point out that you might find very helpful. So first of all, there are basically 2 kinds of screwdrivers you'll tend to use on your bike. There are flathead screwdrivers, which have a blade, so your typical screwdriver, and there are crosshead screwdrivers, like this one here, for example. Got a crosshead on it, no problem. So that's that. But no, because it turns out the crosshead screwdrivers fitted to your Japanese bike are not the same as Phillips screws fitted to just about everything else you'll find in your home or in your car and so on. Because Japanese bikes don't use the Phillips standard when it comes to crosshead screwdrivers. Therefore, you shouldn't be using a Phillips screwdriver like this on your Japanese bike. No, no, no. And if you look at lots of old Japanese bikes, you'll find that lots of the screws, the crosshead screws on those bikes, have completely knackered heads to them because folks have used the wrong screwdriver to try and undo them. So what is the correct screwdriver? Well, Japan has what's called JIS screwdrivers, which stands for Japanese Industrial Standard. So you need to buy JIS crosshead screwdrivers for your Japanese bike, and that's what I've got here. These are all JIS screwdrivers, and it is essential you buy yourself a set of these things, or at least get 2 or 3 of them. Now, in terms of the brand you should buy, there's one brand name that comes up time and time again when folks are talking about JIS screwdrivers, and that's what I've bought over the years, and that's this brand, Vessel. Because Vessel are Japanese and they make some fantastic screwdrivers, and they make a broad range of JIS standard crosshead screwdrivers. So if you're going to buy some, buy Vessel. They're not hugely expensive, they're about the same price as a lot of other mid-range brands, so why not get the best? Get Vessel. And what I did was I bought, I think, a small kit. I think I bought a kit of 3 different sizes. I think it was probably these 3 here. I bought these 3 here as a little kit, and it cost around £30 or £35. I then thought, oh, I might need a slightly bigger one because it'd make every possible size under the sun. So I bought this one here separately, which was about, I don't know, £15, something like that. And now that range will do me for pretty much every crosshead screw I'll ever find on a Japanese bike. Similarly, I've also got a range of small, narrow, flathead screwdrivers here, which also work really well with Japanese bikes. If you occasionally see a flathead screw on your bike, not very common. So that's it really. What else can you say about screwdrivers? Well, there is a couple more things that when I've been researching a little bit about screwdrivers, this particular point didn't come up anywhere, which quite surprised me. And that point is that you can buy screwdrivers with a square section blade. This one's square, all these are round section, as you can see, they're all round. But these 2, and in fact I've got a lot more of these are square section. You think, well, so what? Well, if they're square section and you've got a really tight screw that you can't undo by just spinning it around with your hand, if the square section, you can fit a spanner to the blade of, or the shaft rather, of this screwdriver and force it round. I mean, it's not something you use very often, but I have found it useful in the past. Not so much with motorbikes, but with cars, and probably, you know, taking off a hinge off a door in the house, that sort of thing. So that is something to be aware of. Sometimes a square section shaft can be quite handy because you can get a spanner on it and force it round and put a bit more torque on the screwdriver. So that's my screwdrivers, and as I say, I would recommend you buying Vessel, particularly for JIS standard screwdrivers. I do have another screwdriver, another Vessel screwdriver, a special one over here, and this is special because this is an impact screwdriver. You're supposed to hit it with a hammer. So as you can see here, it's got a steel end to it, so you can take a big blow from a hammer, and the idea is it's got a mechanism inside it that when you hit it with a big hammer, it'll turn the screwdriver a tiny amount. It's got some kind of ratchet inside it, and both the impact of the blow on the stuck screw that you're trying to undo, plus that little bit of movement usually works, and you can then undo your seized screw. There are different kinds of impact drive. You can see them, you can buy them for about £10, big chunky things, short things with a tip that you can change over, but they're pretty cheap and nasty, and the tips don't last long. They tend to get chewed up. I should know because I've bought several of them over the years. So now I use this kind of impact driver instead, and as you can see, the only one I've got is, here anyway, a JIS ended crosshead, because they are the crossheads that I tend to meet working on Japanese and Italian bikes, and they're the ones that tend to seize. So this is the one I use, and it is very, very handy. Not cheap. I mean, these are a lot more expensive than a standard screwdriver. I think this was about £30, something like that. So I would say don't buy a whole kit of these things because they're quite expensive. Just buy one of the appropriate size, and if you need another size, then buy it when you need it. But yeah, these can get you out of a lot of trouble when you've got a seized up screw on your engine, or perhaps on your master cylinder, on the front brake. They often seize up and you can't get the damn things out, but these work really, really well. So that's my very, very quick video on screwdrivers and the kind of screwdrivers you might want to buy when building up a little toolbox at home for working on your own bike. However, if anybody out there is watching this and has some other ideas or suggestions for different brands that I'm not aware of, that are good quality and good value and could be a good buy for somebody starting off building up their own toolbox at home, then please put them in the comments below, and I'm sure that might be very helpful for anybody watching this video in the future. So that's it then. Pretty short video, but what more can you say about screwdrivers? And so that's it for this video, and in the next video I think we'll be talking about sockets and drivers.